Hey guys, Nicolai here. Before we get into episode 4 of regional differences in League of Legends, I gotta let you know that today's episode is sponsored by KOG Games, the developers of L-Sword. L-Sword is a free-to-play 2.5D game with a style of gameplay that is similar to a 2D side-scrolling beat-em-up combined with traditional MMORPG elements. You may have seen L-Sword in the past, but do know that L-Sword recently went through a reboot of all their characters, bringing in standardized stats across all said characters and new skills among many new additions. So check out the first link in the description to start playing L-Sword today. And with that being said, let's jump into the video. Depending on where you live, your experience with League of Legends might differ from others, whether it's from specific censorships or the fact that certain regions are outright prohibited from accessing the game entirely. But let's keep introductions short and let's get today's journey started. Beginning with number 5, we land in the Netherlands, where in 2018, Riot Games partnered the EU LCS with Sanquin, an organization that focuses on supplying blood to people who need it. This partnership was pretty interesting because it was quite straightforward. Simply, Sanquin offers a free League of Legends skin to anyone who would go to donate blood for the first time.
Wij zijn hier bij het League of Legends event in Rotterdam en wij gaan hier het wereldrecord halen met bloedgroepbepalingen. We doen dit om bewustzijn te creëren bij de mensen over hun eigen bloedgroep en hoe belangrijk ze zijn voor de maatschappij. 1 op de 4 mensen hebben ooit bloed nodig in hun leven. Dat is gewoon de realiteit en daarom hebben we de bloeddonors ook heel hard nodig.
But now check this out. The Sanquin campaign started in 2018, but in 2013 a user on Reddit literally suggested this idea with a post titled Riot Games X Red Cross, free Vladimir skin for blood donors. They go on to seal the post by saying this could just be a silly idea, but I could see the appeal. And well, it seems Riot Games also saw the appeal. From what I can tell, I believe the campaign is still ongoing, so if you're in the Netherlands and RP is looking costly, this might be something to consider.
First you take my money, and now you take my blood.
Moving on to number 4, Collegiate eSports. Back in the day, in order to get a scholarship for a good university or college, you would most likely be depending on having exceptional grades or being equally exceptional in some sort of extracurricular or sports. But did you know that today in some regions, specifically the United States and Canada, you could be getting into university by the power of your League of Legends skill? Because in recent years, more and more schools are opening up to the idea of esports being a varsity sport. And with that, the players of these teams would become eligible to get real scholarships. Some schools have been giving out what are known as full ride scholarships. This means that your scholarship covers the cost of tuition, room and board, and as well as any other cost associated with you attending the school. This is a value of potentially tens of thousands of dollars, all because of your League of Legends skill. And actually, I should also step in here and say that many schools have actually brought out programs for more than just a league. There's currently college level esports for Overwatch, Rocket League, and many more. But make sure the game you choose for a scholarship is potentially family friendly, as just recently popular shooter game Counter-Strike Global Offense was banned from American Collegiate esports, and their reasoning being due to the game having, quote, bombing, terrorism, and gun violence. Moving forward with number 3, we go into censorship, specifically in China, and how China's politics can affect League of Legends. As some of you already know, censorship does exist in League. Like the time South Korea decided Evelynn was a little too explicit, and they ended up putting some clothes on her, so that Korean players wouldn't get too excited. However, since then, I've found some other similar censorships within the game. Take a look at this skin for Rise, a skin called Uncle Rise. This is the most recent updated splash art that is used in all regions. But up until 3 years ago, the Uncle Rise skin was broken into 2 splash arts, one for everyone else and one for China. This was the original splash art. And I mean, this goes without saying, but for those who don't know, this is supposed to be your stereotypical Uncle Sam reference. And
That
is where the issue takes place. Because instead of a random scroll, Uncle Rise has the American Declaration of Independence both on his back and in the background. And apparently, due to propaganda laws in China, this is a big no-no. So it was changed for players in China. This is the Chinese version, which in my opinion is a lot worse, putting a larger focus to American money.
Additionally, inside of the League of Legends chat, any mentions of the Chinese president, Xi Jinping, will be censored. But you can freely say the name of presidents from other countries.
Now, secondly, a simple difference that I think is quite interesting is that in China, names are censored within Champ Select, meaning that you don't know who just picked Teemo in the top lane. You'll find out when the game starts, and now the game has started and you realize that his name is Teemo Runs It Down. This is a pretty small difference, but it can be kind of impactful for both negative and positive reasons. Although it does seem that the main reason for this existing is so that people can't intentionally troll a player that they recognize in Champion Select. For example, a streamer or a player you met the game before, who didn't like the way you played Master Yi last game, and after seeing your name, they are now going to make sure they ban your champion, because they do not want to see you on that champion ever again. Honestly, this has unironically happened to me too many times. For number 2, we take a trip to Turkey. This will be a little quick mention since it technically has little to do with the actual game, but I still think it's very interesting. Since the beginning of 2019, CocaCola in Turkey has actually been running a campaign partnered with League of Legends selling champion-themed Coke bottles. And within these Coke bottles, you have the opportunity to win a free Hextech chest. For demonstration, I found this video of these kids who I assume are reviewing the bottles.
Yasu bir tane vardı, onu da ben aldım.
But anyway, this is one of the few times in the world where there has been a League of Legends related product simply just available in your local supermarket. And kind of on the same topic, recently the LEC teamed up with Pringles on a campaign to give away skins through codes in the Pringles cans. But now get this. Riot proudly presented this partnership by saying that there would be 115 million cans of Pringles across all of Europe which would have redeemable codes. However, out of 115 million cans, only 82 cans would contain a winning code. Now for number 1, we take a look at countries that have recently lost their entire access to League of Legends. This also stems from political issues, this time with the United States being at the core. There's a chance you may or may not have already heard about this, since it was kind of a big deal when it originally happened. Earlier this year, due to conflicts between the United States and Iran, Donald Trump put in place trade sanctions on Iran, along with Syria, which is an ally to Iran. And this affected their access to what would be services coming from America, including League of Legends.
Frankly. So America is a peace-loving nation. We do not seek conflict with Iran or any other country. I look forward to the day when sanctions can be finally lifted and Iran can become a peaceful, prosperous, and productive nation. That can go very quickly. It can be tomorrow. It can also be in years from now. So I look forward to discussing whatever I have to discuss with anybody that wants to speak. In the meantime, who knows what's going to happen? I can only tell you we cannot ever let Iran have a
League of Legends.
Ever since this ban went through, Iranian or Syrian users would be met with this message upon trying to access League of Legends. Due to US laws and regulations, players in your country cannot access League of Legends at this time. Such restrictions are subject to change by the US government. So if and when that happens, we will look forward to having you back on the Rift. From as far as I can tell, this is the first time something like this has ever happened. And as of making this video, the block still remains.